niggas in here with me, man. Bad choices on. Well, I might be what you want, man. Yeah. Feel like it's my time, up when the sunrise. Could be dead and gone, still put trust into my guys. Ain't nothing like them guys, just dream about M's now. BCO money all out here when they see me now. Shout out Ep.1, then my brothers, it's mob ties. Put the drip on in the dark, close both eyes. See right through them, pick the hate, see it in their eyes. I ain't gon' lie, been through it, told true lies, yeah. Fuck the situation, make a split decision. Ain't gon' say I'm too good, just got a different image. Young boss nigga chasing on a money mission. I run it up, you run it up, let's get this bang, little nigga. Yeah, been doing me for what they think, little nigga. Fuck all that hoping and wishing, embrace the chase, little nigga. Yeah, was down as fuck, had to shake the feeling. Gotta stay dangerous, even the police is killing. It's just me on my day ones, tryna get some millions.
This is Bag Chasers Only here with Coach Ellison with the on-the-spot interview today. You wanna tell us a little about yourself, Coach Ellison?
Atiyyah Ellison. Obviously, I'm the head coach at Battle High School. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. Went to University of Missouri. Played pro 6 years and bounced around with Carolina, Baltimore, Houston, San Fran, Jacksonville, Kansas City, New England. So bounced out a lot of different places in the NFL. Now I'm coaching high school kids here in Columbia, Missouri. Right?
So explain to us, what was your childhood like?
So for me, single parent home for most of it. My mom did, she was at work by the time we woke up for school. So she always set that foundation of hard work for us. Some of the neighborhoods in St. Louis weren't the best that we lived in, but we made it work. It's me and 4 of my siblings. We all became successful out of St. Louis City. So.
Who inspired you to play football? How was it like playing football during high school?
So I had a coach named Paul McCaffrey. I had never played tackle football until high school because my mom was scared I was going to get hurt. So I was kind of skinny back then. So she was worried because they were trying to make me play like 2 years above my age. So she never let me. I played basketball and baseball and different stuff, but never football. So it was the freshman track coach who coached freshmen in football. And he the one got me to play football for the first time.
What would you say is your most resourceful tool of getting to where you are today? Or becoming what you are today? What was your most resourceful tool?
I think just the resilience it takes, to come out of some of those neighborhoods where, there's poverty and gang violence and crime, and just being resilient and, keeping that positive outlook. And, I believe in God too. So, it ain't never as hard as you think. Right. You just got to keep waking up.
Right.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes, sir. But what made you come back and coach high school football, or come back and help mold the youth or build the youth up?
So like I said, my dad didn't live with us, and he passed when I was young. I don't remember ever living with him. So my dads were like the coaches in the community, or the pastor at the church, so those guys were the ones who kind of molded me early. And so, I was blessed to have some good people in my life. So I try to be that for the next generations coming up behind me.
Who would you say is the best player to come through Battle High School?
Man, it's hard to pick one player. But I think for the time period and what it did for us starting as a freshman and just having all 4 years at quarterback, I got to say Brevin Tyler was one of the most successful kids that's on and off the field. And he also found time to do theater. It wasn't just football. So I think he set a good example, because my little boys were coming to those games too and looking up to him. I think he set a good example for a lot of kids in there.
speaking of your head coaching job, like how has it been a head coach and being a coach also to your son during wrestling and other sports also?
Yeah. So I just try to make sure that we have our time for football or wrestling, and we talk about that stuff. But then, once we get home, I'm back to dad mode, and so it's not, all push. Like you gotta be that dad to listen and care about what he's doing outside of sports. Like he's a straight A student too, so I just really try to push him and while we're here, and then be dad when I'm at home.
So, what advice do you have for the youth, like chasing an athletic career? Also, what advice do you have for them? Educational-wise, educational advice?
So those two things to me go together because your education comes, if they say student athlete in that order on purpose, you can be the best kid who ever played football. If you don't have the grades, nobody will ever know because you won't make it. Most schools you can't play on their team unless you have a certain GPA, and then you have to be accepted into college to play the sports as well. So I think the advice part is to make sure that you prioritize your day to be successful in academics and then in whatever sport you choose, because you can't have one without the other.
So speaking of academics, if you weren't a football player, what do you see yourself, what do you have seen yourself being career-wise?
So I never looked at football as like who I am because I started so late with football compared to a lot of kids. I always knew I wanted to work with like teenagers and the youth because we grew up in those programs in the summertime at Herbert Hoover Boys Club or wherever, and so like I said, being that person to somebody else is just a good feeling to have. To know that you helping out, man. It ain't just lip service. Like you actually help when people need it.
Right. People always need help.
As far as your career, being in the league and stuff like that, how does it feel to be out of the league? Like what else do you want to do accomplishing? Like what are your on your bucket list? What are things on your bucket list?
So really focused right now on being a good dad, being a good husband, and just being a good mentor for a lot of kids. It's hard when you kind of live your dream early. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I do have passion for other things, but my family really is the thing I'm most passionate about. I guess really, like I'm really trying to make sure my faith is where it needs to be. It's a daily, hourly struggle, back and forth. So I just want to, if you read my obituary, right, I would want you to say, this person really cared about the community and what's going on, with the youth, because you guys are the most important. Like, people don't understand. We have to give back to y'all to give you options because somebody reached down and helped us. So I really would want to, you guys are my passion, really.
Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I did my research on you.
Yeah.
You said you played with Coach Belichick. How was that like playing with Coach Belichick? Legendary Coach Belichick over at New England.
So I was ironing my clothes one Sunday, right? About to get ready to go to church. Sunday morning, I get a call on my phone. So I had a little special ringer from my agent. It was like a money machine, right? So that went off. I'm like, oh shoot, okay. So he called me up. He was like, hey, you want to go make some money? I was like, hell yeah, let's go, chasing the bag.
Right.
And so I had to take a red eye from Columbia. I flew somewhere else, I don't even remember, to New England. And, long story short, it didn't end up working out there. But it was funny to see the opportunities that still were there for me. And I just, I had made enough money at that point, to do what I want to do. I wanted to own a house. I wanted some land. I wanted to make sure that, like, my family was safe. And so, like, later on, the call wasn't there. I just didn't have the same drive for it. You know, people chase, you know, millions of dollars and this and that, but you gotta understand, every time you go out there, you're putting your life on the line. Like, literally, like, you could die out there or be paralyzed. Like, was it really worth it then? And so, for me, it was like, man, I made enough money, and I just felt like I had a daughter on the way. It was like, I really didn't have the same kind of focus and drive that I had before. And I had been out for like a month or so and just enjoying being a regular person for the first time since I was 14. You know, every year, you know, we playing on somebody's football team. So I just, you know, Belichick was cool, but it just didn't work out for whatever reason. But I like what I'm doing now, so.
You know I got it, give me some, yeah. Embrace the chase.
I respect your movement. Hey, you just something different, bro.